Let's tear that idea up of the dark and depressing. Do you want the ability not only to talk about your issues, but to laugh about them as well? Like these guys. We've got a couple of... I can't get it out! I can't get it out! I got the giggles now. Well, come and join us on Stuck in the Middle, where we talk about men's mental health and all things mental. Let's break the stigma with some great stories, some good tips that you can take away from the show each week. But most importantly, let's have some fun.
Don't forget the guests.
Oh yeah, the guests. And there are guests going to be on the show that are going to be talking about their experiences and how they deal with their daily mental health struggles. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to give us that like
And subscribe.
and most importantly, press that notification bell so you don't miss a thing or any of the tips that we're going to give you. This is Stuck in the Middle. I'm Geordie Paul and I'm all in.
I'm Andy Man and I'm all in.
Are you all in? Alright everyone.
Hey up me ducks.
Welcome to Stuck in the Middle. This week's episode we're going to explore the concept of man up. I've used it.
I've used it.
Yeah, my dad's used it. All my mates at work have used it. All the football teams and all the sports and everything like that, I've used it. I'm sure at some stage you'll have used it as well.
So, the question is it right or wrong?
Is it right or wrong? Comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Whether you think that man up should be used, should not be used. But yeah, let us know and we'll get a good read of those. We're going to talk about its origins and how often it's used to shut down men's emotions and vulnerabilities and push men to act tough.
Macho.
Man up. We'll also talk about how it's used in different scenarios. Me personally, I think it can be used positively in certain scenarios. We'll go into that. We're going to talk about how it can potentially be quite harmful, especially in relationships, as well as your mental health. And we'll also, don't forget, give you a takeaway. This week's actually a little bit more of a task rather than a takeaway, but watch till the end and you'll see that, and we'll give you something to do in terms of man up. Right, let's get into it. Looking forward to this one, actually. We spent a bit of time when we were writing this and I got a little bit passionate about it. And
You
stuff
did
like
get
that,
very
so.
passionate about it. You did get very passionate about it.
I did like that. How you been? How are you doing?
I've been good.
Yeah?
I've been good. Been busy couple of weeks. Busy couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
you have. You're looking at different business ideas and what.
I am expanding the business. This is not going to be a plug by any means,
But it is.
but it definitely is. No, just expanding the building into pressure washing, pressure jetting, drain clearances and things. Just keeping fingers in as many pies as possible.
Just not like American Pie.
No, fingers.
touch
I said
the pie.
fingers. I said fingers. But no, it's been all right. Been over to see the wedding venue again.
Of course.
Been to a wedding fair. It's all very wedding-y at the minute.
I bet you have to man up in that situation.
This is true. This is true. But no, it's been good. All right, mentally, it's been okay. I've been keeping really busy, so
Yeah, so it takes your mind off it.
it certainly does. What about you?
Yeah, well, again, the arm and work and the legal side of things has, I'm not going to lie, last week was quite tough. Actually, my head popped a little bit. Some of the stress that's coming with the statements for work with the arm and things like that, I obviously can't get into it, but yeah, it's my head kind of fell off.
We've had some conversations this week about
Yeah,
it.
it was. But talking about it, and I did feel loads better because I went through my side of the story, and it was a kid. You were just telling me, right, get it in. Don't flap. Man up, man up. Where does it come from?
So, Paul, I can tell you. So, I have been using a popular search engine, should we say?
Popular search engine.
This
are
week.
other search engines.
There are other
It's on
available
Radio
search
1.
engines. And I've found the origins of man up. So, military and sports culture. The term likely draws from military and sports environments where toughness, resilience were, and often still are, seen as key traits. In these settings, to man up means to face adversity without complaint, to be physically and emotionally tough, and to suppress weakness. Soldiers or athletes are often told to man up in situations that require endurance and courage, pushing through pain or fear in high stress situations. So you can see where it would come from, how it's come from that. We spoke briefly about this yesterday.
I suppose if you go right back to World War One, World War Two, and all of that, I would imagine, there was a lot of kids in that, and it was all men.
Yeah,
really, wasn't it? World War One, World War Two. Not a lot of women in it at all. I don't think.
On the front lines, no.
No, well, definitely not. So, but kids, arguably worse. But they had the older, they had to show masculinity and show strength.
Well, this is what we spoke about last night. You imagine yourself as a 15-year-old boy getting dragged into the trenches.
Yeah.
And I mean, as a fully grown-ass man now, I won't want to do it. Not in the slightest. You can imagine the fear going through that person. And they're going to sit there and like, oh, God, I don't like this. And what's that man going to say? Man up, you've got to deal with this. Definitely. So you can see where it come from with that. And again, with the sports. Exactly with the sports.
Well, I've had that with being with a football and being involved in that. Definitely sort of, I think, because I started as an outfield player, went into being in goal, and I had to be brave and stuff like that.
How's that going for you?
No, definitely not going to be doing that again. So definitely in that scenario, I can totally see, and I think personally, I quite like the man up thing from time to time in the
right situation.
For example, you've got your wedding coming up, and you've got speeches and stuff like that, and if you rehearsed your speech with me, and you were a little bit shaky and stuff like that, then I would say something like, right, man up, focus, be brave, go out and do it.
Yeah.
And that isn't me trying to suppress you or stop you doing anything or be a man. It's just trying to get you to focus. And because the word has been used so much, then I definitely think that man up in that circumstance is right. But you can see where it comes from, and you can see exactly why people now have changed and gone down, and we'll talk about that in a second, but it's now quite a toxic
100%.
Man up.
I've now just decided that I'm going to have a sudden blast of the nerves because just realised that I need to do a speech at the wedding.
Sorry.
Just tell me to man up and get on with it.
Your speech is going to be, you'll enjoy it. Have you done one before?
Nope.
Oh, have you not?
Nope. Public speaking.
It's public
is not
speaking,
my
isn't it?
Not
well, this is kind of public speaking, just with technically nobody here.
Yeah, it's me, you, and technology. That's more of a.
Although I was really nervous today.
You wasn't nervous today.
I wasn't in the last one for some reason. I was all pumped up for it, I think, in the adrenaline of the first show and stuff like that. But yeah, today felt a little bit.
You just realise how much editing you've got to do,
or less.
So
we're just going to keep talking in this one, shall we? Yeah, everyone's going to go, yeah, but I've just watched you edit that bit out. Okay, sorry. As we go off on a tangent, suppressing your emotions. So, man up, the bad side, and the way that it's now being used is to stop you from being a girl. I mean, I'm going to say this. I know I don't mean it as being nasty to anybody else. I'm just saying, is that not how it's used?
It is 100%.
Fire service.
Yeah.
Was that used a lot?
Well, there's always a stereotype. Big, strong, macho fireman, firefighter, but then they come along with you've got to look at your well-being, you've got to look at your welfare, you've got to look at your mental health, and you've got to talk to each other. And you can't always man up. You cannot always man up in every situation.
I believe that because it's the same word used, everyone's getting confused as to what type of man up you need to do in that moment.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that we're manning up by talking about this now.
Yeah.
Whereas you
definitely
could argue, or anybody else could argue, that no, you shouldn't be talking about this. This is the point. I suppose the fire service is probably not the best analogy to use because it would have been encouraged a lot in there because of what you see and stuff like that. But all right then, so in the building trade, do you know what I mean? You stub your finger.
Yeah.
Oh, man up.
Yep.
Well, yeah, all right. Someone is moping around and not pulling their weight in the job. Yes, they need to kick up the backside, but man up.
Probably the wrong.
How about is everything okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to say this over and over again in every single episode that we do. My aim, personally, is to try and get the other person to talk. A bloke crying, We did, just so everyone, we did think about maybe putting the crying bit in where we were going to try and cry on cue.
That's still to come, mate. We are doing that in another episode. We have written that episode.
Do you reckon you could cry on cue?
Me? No. I genuinely don't think I could. But I am going to really enjoy trying. I'm going to enjoy seeing you trying as well. The thing is, I think you probably can cry on cue.
I was going to say, I'm the sensitive type. I definitely
Man
think,
up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, we're not going to do it in this one. Let us know in the comments whether or not you think we should definitely try that. I'm saying definitely try that. We're clearly going to try that. I might even get somebody in as a guest to come and do that. Someone particularly manly.
Yes.
Like, we'll get The Rock on.
It doesn't matter what you think.
No, we've got 29 subscribers to 300 views. I don't think The Rock's going to come on down to Papplewick Lane in my living room, in the studio, sorry.
Yep.
And come on and do that. We need to stop saying man up in those situations.
We definitely do.
Or saying man up in a different way. If I said to you, right, come on, mate, be brave. There's something bothering you, and I know because I've been watching.
Yep.
Right? Oh, no, it's fine. I tell you what, rather in this setting at work right now, let's have a bit of chat. In the van, in the car, or whatever, after just me and you, and you can trust me, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so how many times do you need to man up before you blow up?
This is a key one. Because manning up, as we're going to go further along into talking about relationships and issues in relationships and things, there's manning up and there's manning up and building everything up inside you. So there's, do you know what? I don't want to talk about it. I'll deal with it on my own. I've always dealt with it on my own. I'll deal with it on my own. And like you said, with that, how many times do you man up and deal with it on your own before it blows up?
Yeah, well, this is it. But because you're told to man up and hold all those emotions in,
you're
just stacking the blocks, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's definitely a case of the straw that broke the camel's back type of scenario where that last one comes in and
it could be something
bang,
so small.
Isn't it? I had a few episodes with the alcohol and acting out. I just turned into it almost felt like a split personality type of thing. I named her Barbara. So when Babs is out, it's not good. And I don't mean it's not good because she's going to go and chin everybody. I just mean she's going to probably act like a bit of a fairy. But this is the whole point. And I can't get the whole man up stereotypical thing out of my head either. So and this is why we're doing this. This is why we need to change.
If we can talk to each other, everybody can talk to each other.
That's well said. Yeah, definitely. No, that's it. Two blokes that have come from the very, very similar backgrounds and stuff like that. That's definitely the way we need to be. So don't suppress your emotions. Don't blow up because don't hold everything in to the point where you blow up. The increased risk of mental health is just massive. If you smoke too many cigarettes, you increase the chance of getting cancer. So they say. If you hold all your emotions in, you will pop. Now, some people are really good at holding a lot in.
Yeah.
They're still no different. They might be good enough to hold it in long enough till they're grey and old.
Yeah, it's going to affect not just you, it'll also affect everybody around you. You might not even realise it's doing that. Which leads us nicely onto the relationships.
It does.
And the problems within relationships by manning up.
Relationships, we believe that man up causes major problems. Not talking, when you're suppressing all your feelings, your partner's never going to understand what you're going through or be able to help.
How can they help you when they don't know what it is that's going wrong? So suppressing your feelings, manning up, suppressing your feelings, that's not going to help anybody.
No. Your partners generally probably want to talk to you. And if they don't, then, whatever. But if for a relationship to work, same a friendship, relationship, whatever, you have to communicate.
So your partner's the one person.
Should be.
There should be that one person, should be that one constant that you can go to.
This might be one of the reasons why, when we mentioned the suicide stuff last time, that men is a lot higher than women because if a mother and daughter go out shopping, they probably do have their little bit chat over a coffee or go and get their nails done or go and get their hair done and stuff like that. But yeah, they will sit and they'll chat, won't they? And they'll probably get things off their chest and just knock that layer off.
Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it. We both have layers.
If you don't do that and you don't chat, how can I connect with you?
Yeah. So this is the thing that I've always tried to instill in my own children. You can talk to me whenever you want. 100% you can. However, this week I had an issue, and not an issue. I had a conversation that I felt I needed to man up in this conversation, and I didn't. And then I felt terrible for not manning up. So picture the scenario, okay? My daughter, my youngest daughter, is 10 years old. She comes in, knocks on the bedroom door, and just out the blue started talking to me about puberty.
Whoa.
Right? I'm all open to talk to the kids about anything like that. But I think because she caught me completely off the cuff, was very much a, so what's the stage everything happens in, Dad? And I just felt like properly. So I did none other than, 1 second. Tash.
Oh, yeah.
Can you come and talk to Lily? Yeah.
There's the stereotype.
Of course I can. So she then sat with her. Half an hour, sat and had a conversation with her. I was downstairs pacing up and down in the kitchen thinking, why couldn't I have not just manned up? And do you know what? I lost sleep that night.
You've then lost that bit of trust.
Yeah.
Because she's now in the next stage going to think, should I go and talk to my dad?
Yeah.
Well, no, because he just got Tash to come down.
Yeah. Maybe I should just go and talk to
my
Tash.
stepmom. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you know what? We all three of us sat there then, and after I finished my pacing and panicking, we all sat there and had a full conversation about it. Felt dead awkward.
That's good.
But I would recommend it to anybody that is in that scenario. Just talk. Just talk to them. Talk to your partner. Don't keep it in. It will put you in that position where, like I did, losing sleep over it and thinking, I could have just literally had that
kink
conversation.
In the relationship with your daughter then, though, isn't it?
Exactly. Could have just had that conversation.
But that is very, very stereotypical because it would have felt embarrassing and uncomfortable.
For both parties.
I don't have a daughter. That scares the living crap out of me, to be fair. I think I'll be able to do it with my son, but with a daughter, fair play to you, to be honest. I'm sure everyone's been at that stage. I think my mum told me the birds and the bees. I don't think my dad did.
So how did you deal with it? As the parents out there, in that scenario, we all expect school to do the kind of things, but if you've got that relationship with your children that they can come to you and talk to you and ask you these questions, let us know how you dealt with it. Because I'd like to know, because I genuinely didn't feel like I dealt with it as well as I could have done. Yeah,
that would be good. I mean, like you said there, we expect the schools to do it. Do they tell you when they're doing it?
I believe they do, yeah.
They do, yeah. So you know the time that they're going to be thinking that. Maybe it's a case of diving straight in yourself. One of the problems, obviously, with the relationships, your partner or your kids or friends, it creates this unnecessary pressure. So you've ended up with all this pressure on yourself, and now you're like, your anxiety is going through the roof. When really, if you had months beforehand with a counsellor or with a friend or what have you, started to push those boundaries of uncomfortable in terms of, I'm going to talk about this. Do you know what? Actually, I'm feeling quite emotional today, actually, because we do, and yet you look away. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them, right? How can I better that moment, right? And talk. Is it not? Find someone you trust and talk to them. Put a comment on a podcast because you haven't quite got the confidence. I'm not asking anybody to man up. Just do the things that you're uncomfortable doing that might help with scenarios exactly like that. It was a great topic to add there. Okay, so the relationships, like we said, it can divide you. It can build unnecessary pressure, resentment, create huge barriers. And when it comes to talking about an issue, this is one thing I wanted to say. When you actually end up
G'day, mate.
with an issue, whether it's between you or something else, money, anything like that, you don't know how to talk.
No.
You're so used to not doing that.
So used to keeping
little
yourself inside and not
definitely
not doing it.
I've realized that it's really easy for us to give you a takeaway and tell you something to do that will help. It's doing those things in those moments.
Yep.
You're so clouded or worked up with your anxiety that you forget these things. These takeaways, you know, if you wanted to write them down in a list from each show or whatever, you know, and just look back, right, okay, do you know what, I'm going to try that this week. Maybe in this task that I'm about to say, you can try it whilst doing this task because it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And the intrusive thought of, oh, I look stupid here. Do you? Is that fact?
Yeah. Because
I feel like
probably
that.
not.
I feel like that every day. I feel like that right now. But it probably
But
isn't.
you do look stupid right now.
Yeah, no. Well, that's until I get this tooth sorted. Anyway, takeaways. Think of someone that you trust. Like I trust Andy, Andy trusts me. I would be quite comfortable sitting down and having a conversation with you. What we want you to do is arrange a 15 to 30 minute sit-down chat, whether you go to the pub and have a beer over it, whether you do sit in the living room, regardless what it is, even on the phone, actually, whatever. Find somebody that you trust, and I want you to think about one thing that's bothering you. Now, it doesn't have to be... I'm going to go a bit deep here and probably extreme. It doesn't have to be, unless you want to, of course. Oh, I'm feeling that low, I want to commit suicide. If that is the case, then I'm not going to say man up. Be brave. Focus on what you need to do. And you know already that you've decided that you trust this person. So organise a 15 to 30 minute chat with this person and think of one thing, even if it's something daft like, this bloody bills came in this month, or my daughter's asked me about puberty. Do you know what I mean? Anything like that. Speak to somebody. And then ask them. My whole point of all of this is about the other person. There is so much out there about men's mental health where the person with the mental health has to speak up. We've clearly established, and I don't mean me and Andy, I mean everybody's clearly established that men's mental health is really difficult to talk about, and we're living in these stereotypical times where a man shouldn't speak.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So if that's the case, and it kind of works for me, and I know it'll work for different people, ask me how I feel.
Now, when we've spoke numerous times where I've sat and had a conversation, I think, I'm just going to give Paul a ring, see how he is.
Yeah.
Asking me how you are, and you've told me. And from that, it's led to me telling you how I am. And I get off the phone, I feel so much better.
Oh, so much better.
So much better. It's just one of them, it's just a release. But
it is.
It's like you said, it's important, it's imperative that it's a release for you, but you need to make sure that you show them that it's open for them to release to you too.
Definitely. But that's that one thing. Like we mentioned in the last show, sometimes just mentioning one thing leads to another, to another, and then you're into the conversation deep, and then it might be something like, I'm feeling really down, or thinking about doing something silly. It could lead to that. And do you know what? The other person, because you trust them, will be there to help. If you don't have anybody that you trust, Enlighten the Shadows are fantastic for this.
Yep.
We're here. There's an email. We've got the email on there. You can private message us on the Facebook channel, can't you? So no one's going to see that if you needed to do that. And if you literally wanted to have a phone call,
so at least we can point you in the right direction.
Do you know what I mean? Use man up in a different way. Break the stigma. Yes, break the stigma. Be brave.
Yeah, be brave.
Do you know what? It's gonna feel stupid. It really is. Like, I think this is the problem. You're gonna feel unmasculine. Is that a word?
So when we first started talking, when we, let's say, literally got our heads pushed together, I felt awkward as hell. Awkward as hell. It was like...
Do you remember that moment when she did it?
Yeah.
We just sort of looked at each other as if to say,
okay, we're doing this.
Beer?
Yeah, we're doing this. Let's do this. But then, like I said, once you opened up, started talking, for me, it was like, oh, okay, I can do this as well.
Find that person you trust, organise the meeting, one question, and then ask them. Don't drink too much while you're doing it. I must add, because you end up talking so
You
much.
might get too far into it.
Too far in, and then you'll forget. I want so much for everybody to ask somebody else. Be the other person. There's not enough. I don't see flyers aimed at the people to help mental health.
It's true. It is true. There's not enough of it out there.
I think we're missing a trick.
Yeah.
Like support.
You covered it in the last episode.
I know.
If everybody became that counsellor, if everybody became that person, there would be no problems.
There'd be no counsellors. Sorry.
So that's it then. Are we going to wrap that up?
Okay, so recap. Man up is a myth. It's originally used for soldiers and athletes. Like I've said, it can be used in a positive way, like in those scenarios that we've talked about. But I prefer the word be brave.
Be brave. I'll take that away. We need to break it down because it is key to our mental and emotional health.
Definitely key. We need to let these suppressed feelings out. Do you agree? Don't forget, this week's takeaway is more of a task. We've pretty much covered that quite in depth. Ask somebody. Be the other person. Be the other person.
This is true.
I need them to be the other person. Forget man up. Go out there and man up and go out there and ask someone.
Ooh, controversial. Controversial. And let's be fair, nothing says man up like pretending that you can fix something for hours on end, only to then call the professionals later on.
That is a proper man up.
Yeah.
That's that's so true. Have you done that?
I am the professional.
Feel a catchphrase coming on somewhere. Please let us know either by email or Facebook or in the comments below, or even if you need any advice or anything like that. Let us know how the 15 to 30 minute sessions go. Talk to us. Tell us whether you think we're wrong. That's the whole point of this show. If you do feel, actually, no, I believe this, I believe that, then do you know what? We'll bring it up in another show. It's not a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd quite like a female's perspective on the man up. To see what their thoughts are on.
Or what's their version?
Woman up.
Yeah, what's the woman version? How do you? If you haven't already seen, watch the episode before this, because we go into quite a bit of depth on self-care. I didn't enjoy that face mask.
You loved it. You absolutely loved it.
All right, mate. Thanks very much. Okay, if you liked this episode, click the video below there. We've got a couple of other videos that's on there. There's some. Can't get it out. I can't get it out.
Oh, that actually changed from not being able to get it in, didn't it?
If you liked this episode, I can't say it. I got the giggles now. Right. It's done, mate. Our next episode is going to be blended families. There was a comment on the channel asking for this. We're going to get a guest in, Liam. He's going to come and talk. He's in the RAF and he's going to talk about a few things about men's mental health within the services and living in a modern blended family. So that's the end of the show. If you'd like to give us a like
and subscribe,
and don't forget to press that notification bell so you don't miss any of the episodes coming up. We've got some really good ones coming up. There's maybe a 2-part alcohol one I think we're thinking about doing, the blended families. And of course, obviously, we left the link there for you to watch our episodes that were before this one. I'm Jody Paul, and I'm all in.
I'm Andy Mann, and I'm all in.
He's all in.
He's all in.
He's all in.
He's all in. Are you all in?